Hey guys, and welcome back to another edition of a live recap show we like to call the ARMBAR. I am AngryLarry. I'm here just to discuss today's live Monday Night Raw from Seattle, Washington. Obviously, the top story being that Daniel Bryan has retired from competition. It's interesting because of all the commotion that was made of that today, you kind of wanted to think it was a work because you like Daniel Bryan so much that you wanted just to see him continue and be injected into a storyline about his retirement, but obviously that wasn't the case. Daniel Bryan is retiring from professional wrestling from what we all could have imagined was neck issues. It really surprised me that he talked more about concussions, brain scans, and the like, and that being the determining factor in his retirement. So as somebody who has concussions like myself, I understand what they can do to you, but I did not realize that that was really the ultimate problem with him. I thought it was more neck stuff, which is still serious in its own right, but we do wish him a healthy future and hopefully a successful future. If I can speak as a fan, I'd still like to see him involved in wrestling even at the WWE level. I don't know how it goes for like ex-wrestlers and people who retire and stuff like that, if they're just immediately offered a job in WWE somewhere, or if they can just say, hey, I'd like to do this. And WWE just goes, yeah, okay, that's good. Whether he's a trainer for NXT or becomes an on-air personality, a GM, the next Raw GM. The next Raw GM, or even the next NXT GM. As much as I like William Regal, it's just a way to try to find a place for Daniel Bryan in my mind as a fan. But no matter what he does, I hope it's successful and, pretty emotional speech he had from the heart. I remember him from Ring of Honor, of course, being the wrestling aficionado that I am. He actually won the ROH World Heavyweight Championship in my hometown, in some convention hall area of a bowling alley. And then when he started talking about wrestling in gas stations and in wrestling in New Orleans, it kind of like hit home as a fan where, yeah, you know what, I probably did maybe even watch him wrestle at a gas station once or twice, and it was pretty cool. Pretty good moment. It's continuing now on the WWE network, so I don't know what's going on with that, but it's probably just a live reaction shot from the stadium until probably a couple minutes ago when their network show went on the air. Other than that, it was a pretty fun Raw. It was surprising in many aspects. So let's get to the match rundown here. First, to lead off the show, we had the contract signing between Brock Lesnar, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns. Stephanie McMahon has been so good at igniting the fire between these competitors, trying to drive the knife, wedge it in between Roman and Dean Ambrose, saying that anytime Dean gets up steam, Roman steals his thunder. Stopping Paul Heyman's introduction to get that heel reaction from the crowd. It was so good. After the contract signing, you had your normal shenanigans. Ambrose gets in Brock Lesnar's face. Brock Lesnar throws Dean Ambrose into Roman Reigns, picks up the table, and just drives it right into Roman's face. It was just awesome to watch. And then he hits the F5 on Dean Ambrose. As Lesnar leaves, Triple H appears on the top of the ramp, and they have a little stare down before they go to commercial. First match of the show. Stop me if you heard this before. Dolph Ziggler beats Kevin Owens. And you may ask yourself, why am I watching this again? It is the rubber match of their 3-match Raw series, I guess. And it was more of the same. It's watering down any future feud. And it was the first match in this series led me to say that, hey, we see people wrestle too much on free TV and then don't get an ultimate payout because when they wrestle on pay-per-view, we don't care about them. And who would know that 2 weeks later, after that initial rant, we're going to see them wrestle for the third time. Ziggler got the win because after Owens missed a cannonball, Ziggler pinned him and put his feet on the ropes and cheated to win. So clearly this is going to go on again. And maybe another setup on SmackDown. It's not announced for Fastlane, though, as far as I know. So maybe something happens on SmackDown and it becomes one of those last edition matches that get put on the card on the way to the pay-per-view, on the go-home show of SmackDown, so to speak. Charlotte defeated Alicia Fox again. That match was also happened on SmackDown. But I will have to say this about the match. There were no storyline antics. They didn't have Brie Bella at ringside, probably just because of the Daniel Bryan stuff. Flair didn't do his thing, you know. No Becky, no Sasha, no Team Bad. It was just one-on-one Charlotte versus Alicia Fox. And it was a pretty damn good match, all things aside. I really enjoyed it, and I think I enjoyed it because of the lack of storyline antics involved, something I've been preaching about for weeks. We finally got two female competitors to wrestle a match one-on-one. No cheating, no outside interference, no need to bring in 20 other girls at ringside or in the stands or on the ramp or at commentary. It was one-on-one, and it was great. And Charlotte got the win with the figure eight. Miz TV came up next. And it was The Miz getting interrupted by Chris Jericho this time, who was his scheduled guest. Chris Jericho then turned it into the highlight reel, complete with the, what is it now, the Geritron 15500, whatever they're calling it now. And they changed the mat, like they put a canvas over to make it to officially make it the highlight reel. Stool, potted plant that Dean Ambrose gave him, which is pretty much dead by now, but they did the whole reversal of TV show. Then they start talking about AJ Styles. And AJ Styles finally comes out, attacks The Miz. AJ and Jericho team up, take out The Miz. AJ and Jericho face off, go to blows. Miz pulls out Jericho. Jericho sends Miz over the announce table. Jericho hops on the apron and then backs down when he goes face to face with AJ Styles again, setting up their confrontation on SmackDown. Pretty cool segment. I like the fact that they flipped the Miz TV with the highlight reel right there in front of our eyes. That was pretty cute, pretty funny. You know me, I like my comedy wrestling, so we got that. Speaking of comedy wrestling, I was waiting for the Duke to interrupt me, but you can get more of Duke's reactions to my what do we even call them? I don't even know what we call them. But I forget already. But you'll get more of Duke's reactions on our weekly show, the GNWC Weekly, which this week will feature the Fastlane preview and prediction show. Check that out. It's on YouTube, GNWC Official. You can even go to tinyurl.com/GNWC Official. And that's GNWC like game, N, Wrestling Connection. N is in Nancy. But, signifying the and. You know how we do it on the internet. Next match, Bray Wyatt defeated Ryback when Bray Wyatt hit a Sister Abigail out of nowhere and defeated Ryback. And as far as I know, other than distractions, Bray beat Ryback pretty clean. And coming off that Divas match that was just a one-on-one, it was nice and refreshing to have this stuff happen on Raw, where you see guys winning decisively without the need of other people. But the other people did come into play, obviously. After the match, they all beat down Ryback. And then Bray Wyatt hit another Sister Abigail on the outside. We're going to talk a little bit more on this later, because it's one of thorns in my side that stuck out on Raw this week, and I'll address it before we go off the air. Adam Rose with the Social Outcast defeated Titus O'Neil after Rose rolled up Titus O'Neil when the Social Outcast distracted him. So there we go. I talk about not the need for distractions, and then we got distractions on the next match. But I like the Social Outcast. I like how they interact with each other, and how Curtis Axel always calls somebody on something stupid that they say, and then Bo Dallas doing the whole "we're friends" stuff. I mean, it's so funny. It really is. And four guys, I enjoy how each of the four of them work. And having them together, it's comical and it's entertaining, and it's a wild card. It really is. Did you expect Adam Rose to beat Titus O'Neil? I don't know. Did you expect Heath Slater to beat Dolph Ziggler? No. But then there have been other matches in between where they have lost. They're like the pure wild card right now, and I'd like to see that interject itself more, whether it's with the U.S. title or the tag team titles coming up. Well, coming up meaning I'm going to talk more about the tag team titles in a little bit. Dean Ambrose made his way back to the ring and called out Brock Lesnar. Cut an incredible promo. It really was. I mean, just calling out Brock Lesnar for being a coward. doesn't do anything unless Paul Heyman tells him to do it. But it was pretty good, and it's another reason why I'm really on board the Dean Ambrose train for being a main eventer. He's just excellent. On the mic, in the ring, there's nothing he can't do right now. He's like the best that there is in the business on the main event level. I really do believe he's a main eventer, and I hope he gets there soon. And I hope he gets his due at Fastlane, only if I just don't want it to be the predictable stuff where Reigns wins, Reigns beats Triple H at WrestleMania. And I'm starting to lean that way. I'm starting to think that maybe it's not going to go that way. And that's because each and every time Dean Ambrose comes out, I want it not to go that way now. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's this Sunday, so... Fastlane, not WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar eventually hits the ring, beats the hell out of Dean Ambrose, F5s him, and then leaves the ring. Ambrose gets up and taunts him. Lesnar makes his way back to the ring. Roman Reigns' music hits. He comes down the ramp, distracts Lesnar, and Ambrose hits him with a low blow. Then Ambrose leaves the ring and crawls up the ramp, and, you go to commercial with Dean Ambrose Roman Reigns telling Dean Ambrose he's crazy. So, I don't know if this is still subtly setting the seed for Reigns and Ambrose to turn on each other, and I really hope it doesn't. I don't think there's any room for it before WrestleMania. After WrestleMania, maybe a jealousy after the fact that someone wins the title. But for now, no. But it's another little thing where Reigns came out to make the save on Ambrose. Ambrose says he doesn't want, to be saved, doesn't need help. And then Reigns calling him crazy. I think they're just like subtly planting these little things here, so when there does become a turn, then you can turn back and say, hey, look, it's been happening all along. Tag team action, the League of Nations, Del Rio and Rusev defeated the Lucha Dragons when Del Rio pinned Kalisto after a double stomp in a trio row. Well, listen, I had a little Joey Lawrence moment there while trying to describe the move, but I am sick of Kalisto, Del Rio, and we're entering match number 5 or 6. Is it 6? I mean, the tag team matches are kind of throwing me because they've had so many in between as well. They're not connecting on the wrestling level. Del Rio hit his big, kick to the back of the head on the top rope spot and just totally missed Kalisto's head. And if you look back at their prior matches, there was a missed Rana from the top rope. I wouldn't say botched, but they haven't had the chemistry on some other moves. And they're not cohesive. They have no chemistry. And it's like the norm for their matches for them not to have these fluid contests. I don't even know how else to say it. It's just, there's no chemistry. There's botching going on. I didn't want to say it, but there is. They don't work well together. I don't know if it's a clash of styles or if it's WWE just going, hey, they're both Mexican, put them in the ring. They'll work good together. It just doesn't work. Del Rio works better with heavier weights, and Kalisto could probably work better with younger, faster, lighter talent, let's say. But wherever it is, if Kalisto wins at Fastlane, let's hope it moves on and the U.S. title becomes this thing that it once was with John Cena, defended all the time, all comers, and then we see people like Neville get in the mix, and then any of the social outcasts, stuff like that. I really want this to be a lower tier title to just promote people to the Intercontinental title level and stuff like that. But moving on, back to the Divas. Divas got 2 segments this week. Tamina defeated Becky Lynch, and you did hear me right. Tamina defeated Becky Lynch. Sasha Banks was at the announce table, and they mentioned that there's going to be a tag match at Fastlane, Becky and Sasha versus Tamina and Naomi. Sasha was attacked by Naomi outside the ring when Tamina taunted her. Becky ran outside the ring, made the save, rolled in, Tamina super kicks Becky, and then gets the pin. And how does this make sense? Tamina beating Becky? Well, one, there's going to be the tag team match, so you always have that sort of transition, one person loses to the other in a, whatever the case may be. But why Tamina? I don't know. Why it couldn't have been Naomi beating Becky? I don't know. Why does Becky have to lose? I don't know. Nothing makes sense for me in the Divas division. I'm going to go a little bit on the script from last week and say that the heel turn, or I won't even call it a heel turn, but the disagreement between Sasha and the remaining members of Team Bad really came out of nowhere. There was a jealousy thing with the fans chanting, "We want Sasha," but it was never portrayed by them ever. And then they split. And it was like the same thing with Paige splitting with Charlotte, and Charlotte really turning on Becky. It's just been like these drop on the dime changes in a division where you're trying to give 9 or 10 girls one spot per week. And it's just like, there's just no fluid. It's just not fluid. It's choppy. And to better prove this point, what happened the week after Royal Rumble? Well, Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte were all feuding, looking like it was leading towards something, and then all of a sudden dropped. Just dropped a week after Royal Rumble. Now Brie beats Charlotte, and Becky and Sasha are teaming against Team Bad with no cross between them. It's just like two teams are booking the Divas division, and it just so happened that one booking team said, okay, we're going to interject Sasha into this feud. And the other one said, no, let's just take Sasha and Becky, team them up, put them against Team Bad, and put Brie with Charlotte. And that's just how it played out on TV. One week, it's this feud setting up. Next week, it's just like, okay, redacted. This is what we're doing now. And that's fine going forward. Like I said, Charlotte and Alicia Fox was a great match. But at the same time, that's a one-off. And now she's going to be against Brie on Sunday. And who knows what they're going to do on Monday after that, leading towards WrestleMania. I don't have any faith in any continuity in the Divas division. And I really want to, because if anything was proved today, it's proved that the girls could work if they're left alone to work. And I hope that somehow, some way, it happens. But speaking of heel turns coming out of nowhere, I have a problem with the Divas doing the heel turn out of nowhere, but this one I had no problem with, just based on the fact that who did it. They were established. They did set the seed in an interview beforehand, and they weren't partners prior to this match. So I can I'll be contradictory for a second, if that's even a word, and say that I enjoyed when the Dudleys turned on the Usos in a 8-man tag match, 8-man tables match. It was the New Day and Mark Henry versus the Usos and the Dudley Boys. During the match, Mark Henry walked out on the New Day because he was being told what to do, and he doesn't be told what to do by anybody. So left at 4-3. The Dudleys and the Usos do their what's up move on the New Day, and they do a 3D on Big E through the table and win the match. After the match, the Dudleys attack the Usos, and they hit a 3D on Jimmy through a table, and they did a second rope Bubba Bomb, I guess if you want to call it, on Jay through a table. Mocking them, saying, do you know who we are? We're the Dudleys, blah, blah, blah. And it was good because they had this table match out of nowhere that was announced, Usos versus New Day. And they set it up in a promo beforehand, probably halfway during the show, with the Dudleys saying, hey, that's our match. I got an idea. How about we team with you against the New Day? And the Usos agreed. So I guess the Dudleys are frustrated for being on the sidelines, so to speak, and frustrated that the Usos are getting so many opportunities at the New Day, and frustrated that they would use their tables match, their gimmick. And it was very old school and very well done, even if it does contradict me talking about the Divas every once in a while and their sudden heel turns without a week of development. But I had no problem with Sasha leaving Team Bad for the same reasons. Like, I'm sick of being in the sidelines. And I had no problem with Sasha being interjected in Charlotte and Becky's feud. But I do have a problem when they just, like, ended it. And they made Team Bad turn on Sasha just to set up this tag match from which they were setting up at least a 3-way match, or Sasha versus Charlotte, or Sasha versus Becky, winner to face Charlotte at Fastlane. So that's what I didn't like. Another thing I didn't like, and that was basically the end of the show. Then Daniel Bryan came out and said his words, and it was very emotional, very well done, like I said earlier. and very good. But here's what's sticking in my side for this week, the little thorn in my side. What's making Larry angry segment of the week. Man, they're having these amazing promos done, but no mic in their hands. And it happened twice today. After the Sister Abigail on Ryback outside the ring, Bray Wyatt starts making this like long speech, long promo, cut a huge promo, ending with the follow the buzzards crap that he always does. But he didn't have a mic in his hand. Like, the audio was being picked up, but the promo was just like too long just to be like, you know, we're just going to let the audio pick it up without a mic in his hand and you know, people will be able to hear it. And it sounded like reasonably well put together. I just don't understand why there wasn't a mic involved at all. And the second was when the Dudleys turned on the Usos. Bubba was cutting a promo on, I guess it was Jay after they did the Bubba Bomb. And again, no mic involved. Just whatever you can pick up on whatever mics were open. You heard Dudley tell the Usos off, don't you know who I am? But it's ridiculous that they would have these promos put into these matches and not have a mic so that people could get invested in them. You know what I mean? No one in the stands, unless you're in the front row, maybe heard it. And I don't know how many people at home could really understand it. I couldn't recite it word for word. I didn't hear most of it, but I got the points of them. But if it was just a microphone in a hand, it just seems like they'd be belittling them a little bit more to make it more legit. I don't know. There've been people, I think Jim Ross once brought it up on one of his podcasts, where he doesn't understand why people talking in the ring with a microphone and they don't have the microphone in front of their face. They just talk to each other with the microphone on their sides. Like, what does that really do for the fans? You're just cutting a promo on yourselves. You know, get the fans involved, get the audience involved, let them hear what you're saying. You have the mic already, use it. And here's a situation where they didn't have a mic, but they didn't get the fans invested probably as well as they could have if they cut those promos and everyone can hear them. I don't know. It's like a little bit of a pet peeve right now, and a little bit, but it bugged me today. So it bugged me enough to bring it up, and that's pretty much it. What did you guys think about Raw tonight? Let me know. Hit me up on Twitter at Larry is Angry. Make sure you also check this out on YouTube if you're watching on Twitch, AngryLarry Gaming, or if you're on YouTube, subscribe to Twitch. You can catch this show live every Monday night after Raw, and even this Sunday after Fastlane, 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Twitch is twitch.tv/AngryLarry. And again, in the comments, let me know in YouTube what you guys thought. Good or bad. Disagree, agree, I don't care. Wrestling is very open to interpretation. It's nice. It's nice to have feelings involved in something you watch, some emotions. You like things, you hate things, you wish they did things differently. And guess what? That's part of the show. They want you to hate things. They want you to want something else that they're giving you. It's all a product of wrestling. Until then, guys, I'll see you on Sunday. But check out GNWC Official for our Fastlane preview show, which will probably go live probably Friday morning, if not Thursday evening. Catch you guys later.